Princess Lyraya of the Valorian Empire stood on the wide balcony of the Sky Palace. The stars shone bright above her homeworld. She wore her royal armor, shining silver with blue energy lines running across it. Her long tail moved slowly behind her. Her sharp yellow eyes looked far into the dark sky. Today was the day she hated most. Today she would marry a human. The war with humans had ended only 6 months ago. It was short, but very bloody. Many Valorian ships were lost in space battles. Many brave warriors died on cold planets. The elders of the council said peace was needed now. They said a marriage would seal the treaty forever. They chose her because she was the princess and next in line to rule the empire. They chose him because he was nothing special. His name was Marcus Hale, a human diplomat from Earth. No high rank in their army, no famous family name, just a quiet man who spoke softly and smiled very little. Lyraya had seen his picture many times. Short black hair, plain face with no strong features, no battle scars, no metal implants in his skin, no natural weapons like claws, scales, or energy blades that her people were born with. Humans were weak, she always thought. Soft skin that cut easily, short lives that ended too soon, small bodies that broke under pressure. How could one of them become her husband? She felt deep shame. Not fear, just shame. Her people would laugh behind her back. Her cousins would whisper cruel words in the halls. The princess marries a soft skin, they would say. She lowers herself for a weak race, just to keep peace. But orders were orders. The High Council had spoken clearly. The Emperor, her father, had agreed with sad eyes. He had placed a heavy hand on her shoulder. "This is for the Empire, my daughter," he told her in a low voice. "Show your strength through patience, not through war." Lyraya clenched her fist tight. Her sharp claws pressed into her palms until she felt small drops of blood. Patience was not something she was good at. The human shuttle arrived at dawn. It was small and plain gray. No bright colors like Valorian ships, no proud symbols or glowing engines. Just a simple metal box that flew quietly. It landed softly on the white stone platform outside the palace. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Marcus stepped out alone. He wore simple black clothes, no armor to protect him, no long cape blowing in the wind, no sword or gun at his side, just a small travel bag over one shoulder. He looked up at the tall palace towers, then at her standing on the balcony. He gave a small bow, not too deep, just enough to show respect. "Princess Lyraya," he said. His voice was calm and clear, easy to hear even from far away. "I am Marcus Hale. It is an honor to meet you." She looked down at him from above. He was shorter than her by more than a head. His eyes were brown and steady. There was no fear in them. There was no pride either. Just calm, like a still lake on a quiet day. She did not smile back. "Welcome to Valor," she said. Her voice sounded cold even to her own ears. "Follow me." They walked through the long palace halls together. Tall guards in heavy armor stood at every corner. Servants in light robes carried trays or cleaned the floors. All of them watched. Some hid their laughter behind their hands. Others stared openly, with wide eyes. A human walking beside the princess, inside the royal palace. It was strange. It felt wrong to many of them. Marcus did not look at the staring faces. He kept his eyes forward. He walked with even steps, not too fast, not too slow, like he belonged in this place, even though everyone knew he did not. They reached the garden of crystal flowers. The flowers grew tall and glowed softly in the morning light. Blue, purple, and white lights danced inside their petals. This was her favorite place in the whole palace. Quiet, beautiful, private. She stopped walking. She turned to face him. "Why did your people choose you?" she asked. No soft greeting, no polite words. She went straight to the point. Marcus looked at the glowing flowers for a moment. They said I was suitable, he answered simply. Suitable for what? She asked. To be laughed at by my court? He met her eyes again. To bring peace, he said. That is all they asked of me. She laughed once. The sound was short and sharp like a blade. Peace. You think a marriage to me will stop war forever? My people do not forget defeats easily. We remember every ship we lost, every warrior who died. Neither do my people, he said quietly. His words were soft, but they carried weight. Something in his voice made her stop for a second. It was not anger. It was not a threat. It was just truth, plain and simple. You will live in the east wing of the palace. Your rooms are ready. You may walk in the gardens if you want. You may read books in the library. But you will not enter the war rooms. You will not touch any weapons. You will not train with my guards. Do you understand these rules? Yes, he said without argument. Good. The wedding happens tomorrow at sunset. It will be quick. No big feast, no dancing or music. Just the vows and the seal on the stone. Nothing more. He nodded once. She waited. She expected him to complain. Humans liked comfort, she had heard. They liked big parties, good food, soft beds, and loud celebrations. He said nothing at all. She felt annoyed now. Why was he so empty? No fire in his words, no spirit in his eyes. Go to your rooms now, she said. Rest. Tomorrow you become my husband. He bowed again. Thank you, princess. He turned and walked away. Almost silent on the stone floor. Lyria watched him go until he disappeared around a corner. She felt strange inside. Not full anger now, more like confusion. He was too calm, too quiet, like still water that hides something deep below the surface. But she pushed the thought away fast. He was human, weak, ordinary, nothing more than that. The next day came too quickly. The ceremony hall was large and round. The ceiling was very high. The walls were made of black stone, with thin silver lines running through them like rivers. In the center stood the marriage stone. It was a huge black rock, carved with ancient Valorian words of binding and honor. Lyria wore her best royal armor. Gold plates mixed with blue. A long cape of star silk flowed behind her, like liquid light. Her hair was braided tightly with silver threads. She looked like a warrior queen ready for battle, not a bride. But this time, a thin silver line ran across the shoulders. It was a small gift from her father to show he was now part of the family, at least on paper. The elders stood in a wide circle around the stone. Her father sat on a high chair carved from bone and crystal. His face looked hard, but also kind, in the soft light. A priest in pure white robe stepped forward. He began the old words in a deep voice. Do you, Lyria, daughter of the Empire, take this man as your husband? She looked at Marcus. He looked back at her. No smile, no fear in his face. I do, she said. The words tasted bitter in her mouth. Do you, Marcus Hale of Earth, take this woman as your wife? I do, he said. His voice stayed calm, the same as always. They placed their hands on the cold marriage stone together. A bright white light flashed from the rock. The seal was made. Warm energy ran through the stone and into their skin. A mark formed that would never fade. A circle with a straight line through it. One half on her palm, one half on his. It was finished. The elders clapped slowly, not with joy, just polite duty. Her father stood up. The treaty is complete, he said in a strong voice. Peace is sealed between our peoples. People left the hall quietly. Soon only Lyria and Marcus remained in the big empty space. She turned to him. This changes nothing between us, she said firmly. You sleep in your rooms, I sleep in mine. We speak only when it is needed for official things. You stay out of my way. He nodded. As you wish, princess. She started to walk away. "Princess," he said softly. She stopped but did not turn around. "If you ever need me," he said, "I will be there." She almost laughed out loud. "I will never need you," she answered without looking back. He said nothing more. Her tail flicked sharply in anger and frustration. Days turned into weeks. Marcus lived very quietly in his part of the palace. He spent many hours in the big library. He read old books about Valorian history. He read human books too. Books about science, old wars, even poetry from Earth. He made a small garden on the balcony outside his rooms. He grew strange plants from his homeworld, red flowers with soft petals, green leaves that smelled sweet when touched. No glow, no inner energy like Valorian plants, just simple growing things. He spoke very little to anyone. When he did speak, his words were kind. He thanked the servants who brought his food. He nodded politely to the guards at his door. He even spoke gently to her when they passed in the halls. She watched him sometimes, from far away, hidden behind pillars or from high windows. He never argued with anyone. He never raised his voice. He never carried a weapon of any kind. Her cousins came to visit the palace often. They laughed at him openly now. "Look at the human pet," one cousin said loudly while pointing. "He gardens like a small child playing in dirt," another laughed. Marcus heard their words. He only smiled a little, small and calm, then went back to watering his flowers. Lariah felt shame again. Not for him this time, for her own people who acted so cruel. But she said nothing to stop them. One night, she could not sleep. Her mind would not rest. She walked the quiet halls alone. She passed by his room. The door was open just a little, letting out soft yellow light. She stopped and looked inside carefully. He sat on the floor with his legs crossed. His eyes were closed. His breathing was slow and even. In front of him on the ground lay a long object wrapped in dark cloth. He just looked at it with peaceful eyes. She felt a pull of curiosity. What was inside the cloth? A gift from Earth? A secret he kept? She left quickly before he opened his eyes. She told herself it was nothing important. He was ordinary. He had to be ordinary. But deep inside her chest, a small quiet voice kept whispering, "Maybe he is not." Months passed slowly in the Sky Palace. The days felt long and quiet. Lariah kept busy with her duties. She met with generals to talk about ship repairs. She trained with her guards in the fighting yards. She studied maps of the border stars where the war had happened. She tried to forget the human who now lived in her palace. Marcus stayed in his own world. He read books every morning. He cared for his small garden every afternoon. The red flowers from Earth grew taller now. Their sweet smell drifted through the open balcony doors. Sometimes servants brought him fresh soil or water. They liked him because he always said thank you with a gentle smile. Lariah saw him from time to time, in the long halls, in the crystal garden, at official dinners where they had to sit near each other. He never spoke unless someone asked him a question. When he did speak, his words were short and polite. He never looked angry. He never looked proud. He just looked calm. Her cousins came more often now. Lord Cavor led them. He was tall and strong, with deep green scales and sharp silver horns. He was her father's nephew. Many said he should have been the one to marry her. Many said he would make a better emperor one day. Cavor hated the peace treaty. He hated humans even more. One evening, Cavor and his friends gathered in a private hall. Lariah was not invited, but she heard their voices through the thin walls as she walked past. "The human is an insult," Cavor said in a loud voice. "A soft, weak thing sits beside our princess. He eats our food, he breathes our air, and we do nothing." His friends laughed. One of them, a young noble named Vexar, spoke next. "We should have finished the war. crushed their little blue planet, taken their ships. Instead, we give them a princess." Kavor's voice became lower. "The elders are old and tired. They fear another war. And neither should you." Lariah stopped walking. She pressed her back against the wall and listened. "We start small," Kavor continued. "Make the human disappear, quietly. No one will blame us. They will think he ran away or got sick. Humans are weak. They die easily." More laughter, then silence. Lariah felt cold inside. She knew Kavor was dangerous. She had known it for years, but she never thought he would move against her husband. Not yet. She walked away quickly. She told herself it was just talk. Empty words from angry men. Nothing would happen. But things did happen. First came the wine. At a small dinner for the council, a servant brought a golden cup to Marcus. The wine inside was dark red and smelled of sweet berries. Marcus lifted the cup to his lips. Then he stopped. He sniffed once. His face did not change. He set the cup down, without drinking. "But I am not thirsty tonight." The servant looked surprised. He took the cup away. Later, Lariah learned the truth. One of her loyal maids tested the wine in secret. It had poison in it. Slow poison. The kind that makes blood turn thick and stops the heart after hours of pain. Lariah felt angry. She questioned the servants. No one knew who had put the poison in, or they would not say. She increased the guards around Marcus's rooms, but she did not tell him why. He never asked. Next came the shuttle. Marcus had to travel to a nearby moon for a small meeting about trade rules. The council sent a royal shuttle for him. It was new and fast. Lariah watched from the balcony as he walked toward it. He stopped a few steps away from the door. He looked at the ship for a long time. Then he turned and walked back to the palace. Later she asked him, "Why did you not go?" He looked at her with calm eyes. "The engine sounded wrong," he said. "A small click. Not normal." She checked with the engineers. They found a fault in the power core. It would have exploded 10 minutes after takeoff. Someone had changed the safety locks. Again, no one knew who did it. Lariah started to feel uneasy. Not fear, just a strange feeling in her chest. She watched Marcus more closely now. He still gardened. He still read. He still smiled at servants. But now she noticed small things. The way he always stood with his back to a wall in crowded rooms. The way his eyes moved fast when someone came near him. The way he never turned his back on open doors. She told herself these were just human habits, nothing special. Then came the night of the grand banquet. It was held to celebrate the first year of peace. The great hall was full of light. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceiling. Tables were covered with food from every world in the empire. Music played soft and low. Nobles wore their best armor and jewels. Lariah sat at the high table in her golden armor. Marcus sat beside her. He wore black, with the thin silver line on his shoulders. Everyone smiled. Everyone toasted peace. But the air felt thick with something else. Halfway through the meal, the doors burst open. 20 warriors in dark armor rushed inside. They carried energy spears and plasma blades. Their faces were covered with black masks. But Lariah knew the style of their armor. Kavor's personal guard. The leader stepped forward. He pulled off his mask. It was Vexar. "The princess has shamed us," he shouted. "She sleeps beside a human. She calls him husband. This ends tonight." The hall exploded into chaos. Guests screamed. Tables flipped over. Guards drew their weapons. Lariah jumped to her feet. She pulled her ceremonial glaive from its place on her back. The long energy blade hummed to life with bright blue light. She stepped in front of Marcus. "Stay behind me," she ordered him. He did not move. The attackers charged. Vexar came straight for her. His plasma blades swung in a wide arc. Lyria blocked it. Sparks flew. She pushed back hard. He stumbled, but did not fall. Around her the fight grew wild. Her loyal guards fought bravely, but the attackers were many, and they were ready. Lyria felt a spear graze her arm. Pain burned hot. Blood ran down her silver armor. She spun and cut down one attacker, then another, but more came. She was strong, she was fast, but there were too many. She looked around. Bodies lay on the floor. Friends, guards, even some nobles who tried to help. The hall smelled of smoke and blood. Then she saw Marcus. He had not run. He had not hidden. He stood in the middle of the chaos. His face was calm. No fear, no anger, just calm. One attacker saw him, a big warrior with a heavy hammer. The human killed the pet first. The warrior charged at Marcus with the hammer raised high. Lyria wanted to shout, wanted to run to him, but she was trapped in her own fight. Marcus did not step back. He reached under his black tunic with one smooth motion. He pulled out a long object wrapped in dark cloth. He unwrapped it slowly. It was a sword. A simple sword, made of dark metal. No glow, no energy hum, just steel. The blade looked old. The hilt was wrapped in worn leather. It had no jewels, no fancy design. The warrior laughed again. A toy! He swung the hammer down hard. Marcus moved. One step to the side, one twist of his body. The hammer missed him by inches. It crashed into the floor and cracked the stone. Marcus raised the sword. In one clean motion, he cut. The hammer handle snapped like dry wood. The metal head flew across the room. The warrior stared at his broken weapon. Marcus stepped forward. He cut again. The warrior's arm fell to the floor. Blood sprayed. The big man screamed. Marcus did not scream. He did not shout. He just moved to the next attacker. Lyria stared. She forgot her own fight for a second. Marcus moved like water, like wind. Every step perfect. Every swing exact. No waste, no extra motion. Another attacker came at him with a plasma blade. Marcus parried it with the flat of his sword. The energy hissed and sparked against the plain steel. Then Marcus twisted his wrist. The plasma blade flew out of the attacker's hand. A third came from behind. Marcus turned without looking. He drove the sword backward under his arm. The blade found the gap in the armor. The attacker dropped without a sound. 10 seconds, maybe less. 3 dead. Marcus stood in the center, sword in hand, breathing steady, not even a drop of sweat on his face. The attackers stopped. They looked at him, then at the bodies, then back at him. Vexar shouted from across the hall, "Kill him, now!" But they hesitated. Lyria felt something new inside her. Not shame, not anger. Something like cold water running down her back. She looked at the man she had called ordinary. He stood there, quiet, calm, with an old sword in his hand. The great hall had become a battlefield. Smoke rose from broken energy weapons. Blood pooled on the black stone floor. Screams still echoed from the far corners where some nobles hid under tables. Lyria stood with her glaive raised, chest moving fast from the fight. Her arm bled where the spear had cut her, but she could not look away from the center of the hall. Marcus stood there alone. His simple sword hung loose in his right hand. Dark steel shone wet with blood under the chandelier lights. He breathed slow and even, like a man who had just finished a short walk, not a deadly fight. Around his feet lay 3 attackers, one missing an arm, one with a deep cut across the chest, one dead with wide-open eyes staring at nothing. The other attackers had frozen. Their plasma blades still hummed, but their hands shook. Vexar stood at the back, his face twisted in shock and rage. "Who taught you to fight like that?" His voice cracked a little. Marcus did not answer. He just looked at the man with calm brown eyes. Vexar pointed his blade forward. "He is only human. Kill him." 4 more warriors rushed at Marcus together. They moved as a group, trained to fight as one. Spears and blades came from different sides. Marcus stepped to the left, not far, just enough. The first spear missed his side by a finger's width. He turned his body in a small circle. His sword moved up and across in a clean line. The spear shaft broke. The warrior holding it stumbled forward. Marcus pushed the broken end aside with his free hand and drove the sword point into the gap under the man's helmet. The warrior dropped without a sound. The second attacker swung a heavy plasma axe from the right. Marcus ducked low. The axe passed over his head with a hot hiss. He came up fast and cut behind the knee. Armor cracked. The man fell to one knee with a cry. Marcus stepped past him and struck once more. The man went still. The third and fourth came at the same time, one from front, one from behind. Marcus did not look back. He felt the movement in the air. He spun on his heel. His sword met the front attacker's blade. Metal rang against plasma. Sparks flew. The plasma edge tried to burn through the steel, but the old sword held. Marcus pushed hard. The attacker lost balance. Then Marcus twisted his body again. The sword came around in a wide arc. It caught the man behind him across the throat before he could strike. Blood sprayed. The attacker fell. The last one, the one from the front, stared at his dead friend. Fear filled his eyes. He backed away one step, then another. Marcus lowered his sword a little. Not all the way. Just enough to show he was not chasing. "Run," Marcus said. His voice stayed quiet, almost kind. The warrior turned and ran toward the broken doors. He did not look back. Now only Vexar and 6 others remained standing. Lariah moved closer. She kept her glaive ready, but she felt strange. Her heart beat fast, not just from the fight, from something new. Something she had never felt before when looking at Marcus. She had called him weak, soft, useless. Now she watched him stand in the middle of death like it was nothing. Vexar laughed. It sounded forced. "You think one lucky fight makes you strong? You are still soft-skinned, still short life. We will end this." He raised his hand. The remaining 6 spread out in a half circle. They moved slow this time, careful. Marcus lifted his sword again. He held it in both hands now. The blade pointed slightly down. His feet stood wide apart, steady. Lariah stepped beside him, not behind, beside. "I fight with you," she said. Marcus looked at her for the first time since the fight started. His eyes met hers. No surprise, no thanks, just a small nod. The 6 charged. Lariah met the first one with her glaive. Blue energy clashed against plasma. She pushed hard and spun the long weapon. The attacker fell back. Marcus moved at the same time. He did not rush. He flowed. One attacker thrust a spear at his chest. Marcus stepped sideways. The spear tip passed close to his ribs. He brought his sword down in a short chop. The spear broke. Before the man could pull back, Marcus stepped in close. His elbow hit the attacker's jaw. The man staggered. Marcus cut low, across the legs. The man dropped screaming. Another came from the side, with twin short blades. Marcus caught one blade on his sword. The other tried to stab low. Marcus lifted his knee fast. It hit the attacker's wrist. The blade flew away. Then Marcus pushed forward. His shoulders slammed into the man's chest. The attacker flew back into a table. Wood cracked. He did not get up. Vexar roared and charged straight at Marcus. His plasma blade glowed bright red. He swung it in a wide circle meant to cut Marcus in half. Marcus did not block with the edge. He used the flat of the sword. The plasma met steel. A loud crack sounded. Energy sparked wild. Vexar pushed hard. His strength was greater. He tried to force Marcus down. But Marcus did not fight strength with strength. He stepped back one small step. Let Vexar come forward too far. Then he twisted his hips. His sword slid along the plasma blade. The energy hissed and popped. Marcus turned his wrists. The old steel slipped past the glowing edge. It found the guard on Vexar's hilt. A quick flick. Vexar's weapon flew from his hand. Vexar stared at his empty fingers. Marcus stepped close. The point of the sword rested light against Vexar's throat. "Do not move," Marcus said. The last two attackers stopped. They looked at Vexar, then at the bodies, then at Marcus. They raised empty hands. The fight was over. Silence filled the hall again. Only heavy breathing and soft moans from the wounded broke it. Lyria lowered her glaive slowly. Her arm hurt. Blood dripped from her fingers, but she could not feel the pain clearly. Her eyes stayed on Marcus. He cleaned the sword on the edge of a fallen cloak. One smooth wipe. Then he slid it back under his tunic. The dark cloth wrapped around it again, like nothing had happened. He turned to her. "Are you hurt, my wife?" he asked. The words were simple. The same words he had said many times before when they passed in the halls, but now they sounded different. Lyria looked down at her arm, then back at him. "You," she started. Her voice sounded rough. "You killed them. All of them. With that thing." Marcus looked at the floor for a moment, then back at her. "I did what was needed," he said. Guards rushed in now. They saw the dead. Saw Vexar on his knees. Saw Marcus standing calm, with blood on his hands. They pointed weapons at the remaining attackers. Chains came out. Vexar was pulled to his feet. Lyria stepped closer to Marcus. She looked at his arms. For the first time she noticed the faint lines on his forearms. Old scars, thin and straight, like knife cuts that had healed long ago. Many of them. Too many for a simple diplomat. She reached out. Her fingers touched one scar lightly. "What are these?" she asked. Marcus did not pull away. "Reminders," he said. "Of what?" "Of training, of fights before this one." She stared at him. "You are not a diplomat." He gave a small smile, the first real one she had seen from him. "I am many things," he said. "But tonight, I was only your husband." Lyria felt heat rise in her face. Not shame now, something warmer, something stronger. Servants came to clean the blood. Someone brought a healer for her arm. But Lyria did not move. She stood there looking at the man she had married. The man she had called ordinary. The man who had just saved her life. And the life of her empire. In the quiet after the storm, she finally spoke again. "You could have run," she said. "I could have," he answered. "Why didn't you?" Marcus looked around the broken hall, then back at her. "Because this is my home now too," he said. Lyria felt her tail curl slowly behind her, a sign of deep thought among her people. She did not know what to say next, so she just stood beside him. For the first time, not as a princess forced to stand near a weak husband, but as a warrior beside another warrior. And in that moment, something inside her changed forever. The palace healers worked fast. They cleaned Lyria's arm and wrapped it in soft white cloth that glowed faintly with healing energy. The cut was deep but clean. It would heal without a scar. She sat on a low bench in a quiet side room while the healer finished. Marcus stood near the door. He had washed the blood from his hands. His black clothes still had dark wet spots, but his face looked the same as always, calm. The room smelled of clean herbs and metal. Outside, guards moved through the halls. Their boots made hard sounds on the stone. Voices whispered. Orders were assigned. The night felt heavy. Lariah looked up at Marcus. Her yellow eyes narrowed. "Sit," she said. It was not a request. He walked over and sat on the bench across from her. The healer left quietly. Now they were alone. She waited a moment. Then she spoke. "Tell me everything." Marcus looked at his hands for a second. Then he met her eyes. "I am not just a diplomat," he said. "That was the story they gave you. The story the council wanted you to believe." She leaned forward. "Then what are you?" He took a slow breath. "During the war, Earth learned something fast. Your ships were stronger. Your warriors were bigger. Your weapons burned hotter. We could not win by matching you. Not with numbers, not with machines. So we made something different." He paused. "We made the Silent Order." Lariah frowned. "I have never heard of it." "No one outside Earth has. That is the point. It is secret, small, men and women chosen young, trained for years, not with machines in their bodies, not with drugs or metal parts, with control, with memory, with old ways our people almost forgot." He touched the place under his tunic where the sword rested. "This blade is called Endurance. It belonged to my family for many generations. It fought in wars long before space travel. It has no power cell, no energy field, just steel and the hand that holds it. Scanners see nothing special because there is nothing special to see. The power comes from me." Lariah stared at the hidden sword. "You killed trained Valorian warriors with a piece of metal." "Yes." "How?" Marcus looked straight at her. "Because I know where to cut. Every species has weak points. Joints, gaps in armor, places where nerves run close to the skin. Your people are strong, but strength means nothing if the strike is perfect. I was taught to see those places, to move without waste, to end a fight before it starts." She thought back to the hall, the way he moved, the way he never hurried, the way every swing looked easy. "You were chosen for this marriage," she said slowly. "Not because you were weak, because you were hidden." He nodded. "Earth knew the peace might not last. Some of your people would hate it. They would try to break it. The council picked me because no one would look twice at a quiet man with no weapons. I was the failsafe. If the treaty failed, if they came for you, I would be there." Lariah felt cold inside. Not fear, understanding. "So the whole time, you were watching, waiting." "Yes." She stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the dark sky. Stars looked cold tonight. "You let them mock you," she said. "My cousins, my guards, everyone. You let them call you soft, weak, pet." "I did." "Why?" "Because anger makes people blind. If I fought back with words, they would watch me closer. If I showed pride, they would test me sooner. I stayed quiet, so they would forget I was even there." She turned back to him. "And tonight they stopped forgetting." Silence filled the room. Lariah walked back and sat again, closer this time. "The scars on your arms," she said. "From training?" "Some. Some from real fights. Before the Silent Order sent me here, I served on the border worlds. Small battles. Quiet ones. No big ships. No loud names. Just knives in the dark. We learned fast." She reached out, touched one scar again. This time she did not pull away quick. "You could have told me," she said. "Would you have believed me?" he asked. She thought about it, remembered the first days, the way she looked down at him, the way she spoke cold words, the way she kept him away. "No," she admitted, "I would not." He gave a small nod. "That is why I waited." She looked at the floor. Kavor got away. Yes, he ran when the fight turned, He has friends, more warriors. He will not stop. Lariah clenched her fists. He wants the throne. He thinks I am weak because I accepted peace. Because I accepted you. Marcus stayed quiet for a moment. He is wrong, he said finally. She looked up. You are not weak, he continued. You fought tonight. You stood your ground. You bled for your people. That is strength, real strength. She felt something warm in her chest. She pushed it down. And you? She asked. What do you want from this? Marcus looked out the window now. I want what Earth wants. Peace. Real peace. Not peace because we are afraid. Peace because both sides choose it. I came here to help make that happen. If I have to fight to keep it, I will. Lariah studied his face. No pride, no boast, just quiet truth. She stood again. This time she walked to him. She stopped close. Show me the sword again, she said. He reached under his tunic, pulled out the wrapped bundle, unrolled the dark cloth slowly. Endurance lay in his hands, plain, dark, old. Her fingers brushed the hilt, then the flat of the blade. It felt cold, heavy, real. It has no power, she said. It has yours, he answered. She looked into his eyes. For the first time, she did not see a soft human. She saw a man who had chosen to hide his strength, a man who had chosen to wait, a man who had chosen her side without being asked. She pulled her hand back. Kavor will come again, she said. He will bring more. He will try to take the palace, the throne, everything. Marcus wrapped the sword again, hid it under his clothes. Then we will be ready, he said. Lariah felt her tail move slowly, a sign of decision. I am ready now, she said, and I am not alone. She held out her hand. Marcus looked at it. Then he took it. His grip was firm, but gentle. For the first time since the wedding, she did not pull away. They stood like that for a long moment. Outside, the palace lights burned bright. Guards patrolled. Messengers ran. Word spread fast. The human consort had fought. The human consort had won. Whispers turned to questions. Questions turned to awe. In the quiet room, Lariah spoke one last time. I was wrong about you, she said. Marcus shook his head. You saw what I showed you. No, she said. I saw what I wanted to see. A weak man, a symbol, not a warrior. He smiled a little. Small, real. Now you see both. She nodded. Yes, she said. Now I see both. The healer returned with fresh bandages. The night grew deeper. But inside Lariah, something had changed. She no longer pitied her husband. She respected him. And respect, among her people, was stronger than love. It was the beginning of something new, something dangerous, because Kavor was still out there, gathering strength, planning revenge, and when he came back, the palace would burn. But this time, the princess would not stand alone. Her husband would stand with her, with his quiet voice, with his calm eyes, with his true blade. And the empire would learn what humans really were. Not soft, not weak, just patient. The attack came at dawn. Red warning lights flashed across the palace. Alarms screamed through every hall. Servants ran. Guards shouted orders. Outside the tall windows, the sky filled with dark shapes. Kavor's ships had arrived. Not small shuttles this time, big warships. Heavy cruisers painted black with silver claws. They broke through the outer shields like paper. Laser fire rained down on the defense towers. Explosions lit the morning sky, orange and white. Lariah stood in the throne room. She wore full battle armor now. Gold plates mixed with thick black scales. Her glaive rested in her hands. The long energy blade hummed low and steady. Her tail moved sharp behind her. Her yellow eyes burned. Marcus stood beside her. He wore the same black clothes. No armor, no helmet. Just the tunic and the hidden sword. His face looked calm. Always calm. The high doors shook. Metal groaned. Something heavy hit them from the other side. "They are here," Lyria said. Marcus nodded once. The doors burst open with a loud crack. Smoke poured in. Through the haze came Kavor's elite troops. 50 of them. Maybe more. All in heavy black armor. All carrying plasma rifles and power blades. Their eyes glowed red behind faceplates. They moved fast, trained, angry. Kavor walked in last. He looked taller than before. His green scales shone under the lights. His silver horns curved sharp. He carried a royal great blade, long, wide, glowing with purple energy. He smiled when he saw Lyria. "Cousin," he said. His voice echoed in the big room. "You look tired. Did the human keep you up all night?" Lyria stepped forward. "This ends today, Kavor. You will not take the throne." He laughed. "The throne is already mine. The council is dead or running. The fleet is mine. The empire is mine. You are just in the way." His eyes moved to Marcus. "And you," he said, "the soft pet, I should have killed you first. But I wanted to see you die slow, after I take her head." Marcus did not answer. He just watched. Kavor raised his hand. The troops opened fire. Plasma bolts filled the air. Blue and red streaks burned toward Lyria and Marcus. Lyria spun her glaive. The energy blade caught the shots, deflected them. Sparks flew. She moved forward, cut down the first soldier who got too close. His armor split open. He fell. Marcus moved too. He did not run. He walked. A soldier aimed a rifle at him. Marcus stepped sideways. The bolt missed. Marcus closed the distance in 2 steps. His sword came out in one smooth pull. The dark steel flashed. It cut through the rifle barrel, then through the soldier's arm. The man screamed and dropped. Another soldier charged with a power sword. The power sword sparked against endurance. The energy tried to burn the steel, but the old blade held. Marcus pushed, twisted. The soldier's sword flew away. Marcus stepped in, cut across the chest. The soldier fell silent. Lyria fought on the left side. Her glaive moved fast. She cut through armor. She broke shields. Blood sprayed on her gold plates. She roared as she fought. A true Valorian warrior. But the numbers were too many. Soldiers pressed in from every side. They surrounded her. She blocked one strike, then another. A plasma bolt grazed her leg. Pain shot through her. She stumbled. Marcus saw it. He moved faster now. He flowed between the soldiers like water between rocks. His sword never stopped. It cut. It parried. It killed. Every move perfect, every strike exact. A soldier swung a heavy club. Marcus ducked, came up under the swing, drove the sword into the armpit gap. The soldier dropped. Another fired a rifle, point blank. Marcus turned his body. The bolt passed close to his shoulder. He grabbed the barrel with his free hand, pulled the soldier forward, cut across the throat. Kavor watched from the back. His smile faded. "Enough," he shouted. "All of you, focus on the human." The remaining soldiers turned toward Marcus. 20 of them now, maybe more. They formed a circle, rifles raised, blades ready. Lyria tried to reach him. A soldier blocked her path. She cut him down, but more came. Marcus stood in the center, alone. He looked at the circle of death around him. Then he smiled, calm. He raised endurance high. For the first time something changed. Faint lines appeared along the blade, thin silver threads, like veins of light. They glowed soft, not bright like Valorian weapons, just enough to see. The sword remembered. Every life it took, every fight it won. The steel sang quiet. The soldiers hesitated. Marcus moved. He became a storm. He spun, cut, stepped, cut again. The sword moved so fast it blurred. Armor cracked. Limbs fell. Blood flew. Soldiers screamed. One tried to shoot. Marcus was already there. The sword went through the rifle and the hand holding it. Another swung a blade. Marcus caught it on his own. Pushed. The soldier's blade broke. Then his neck. 10 seconds. Maybe less. Half the circle lay dead. The rest backed away. Keivor roared. Coward, face me. He charged. His great blade swung in a huge arc. Purple energy crackled. It could cut through stone. Marcus met him, blade to blade. The purple glow met the faint silver light. A loud ring filled the room. Energy sparked wild. Keivor pushed hard. His strength was huge. Muscles bulged under his scales. Marcus did not push back. Let the swing go past. Then he turned. His sword came up in a clean line. It found the joint in Keivor's armor, the place where shoulder met neck, a small gap. No one else would see it. The blade went in. Keivor stopped. His eyes went wide. He looked down at the sword in his body, then up at Marcus. "What are you?" he whispered. Marcus pulled the sword free. "I am your husband's husband," he said quiet. Keivor fell to his knees, then forward, face down on the stone, dead. The last soldiers dropped their weapons. They raised empty hands. They knelt. Silence came again. Lyria limped forward. Her leg bled. Her armor was cracked, but she stood tall. She looked at the bodies, then at Marcus. He cleaned a sword on a dead soldier's cloak. One slow wipe. The silver lines faded. The blade went dark again. Plain steel, once more. He sheathed it under his tunic. Then he walked to her. He looked at her leg. "You are hurt," he said. She looked at him. "You killed them all," she said. "Most of them," he answered. She reached out, touched his face. Her fingers brushed his cheek. "You never raised your voice," she said. "You never shouted. You never looked angry." "I did not need to," he said. She looked around the throne room. Broken armor, blood, dead eyes, and peace. Real peace. Because no one would challenge them again, not after this. She took his hand. "I thought you were ordinary," she said. He shook his head. "I never was." She smiled. Small. Real. "No," she said. "You never were." They stood together in the quiet. Outside, the fighting stopped. The ships pulled back. Word spread fast. Keivor was dead. The humans stood with her. The Empire learned something new that day. Humans could be quiet. Humans could be calm. But when they chose to fight, they were unstoppable. Lyria looked at Marcus. "My husband," she said. He looked back. "My wife." They walked out of the throne room together, hand in hand. The true blade stayed sheathed. But everyone knew now. It was there. Always there. Waiting. Patient. Just like the man who carried it.